Are you making a living or are you actually creating a life? Because those are not the same things. Get busy living or get busy dying. And I think it's a simple truth that you have to understand. Every day we're either consciously creating our lives or we're unconsciously letting them happen to us. And we're letting go of the control of our actual creation of our lives. And you see, the truth is that your life is being created right now, either by design or by default. Your life is a masterpiece in progress, but only if you decide to pick up the brush and paint that yourself. Don't let another week go by living in reaction mode. The people who live fully aren't the ones who have more time. They're the ones who decide how they use their time. All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. There's a question I think all of us need to stop and ask ourselves once in a while. You've heard me say it before. Are you making a living or are you actually creating a life? Because those are not the same things. And sometimes we get wrapped up in what we're doing. We live in a world that's hustle, productivity, results, and we measure our success by revenue, growth, achievement. But in the pursuit of making a living, we lose sight of what really means to create a life and to really live your best life. And so I want to talk today about that because I've been there. I'm recording from my office right now, this episode. So I've built businesses, I've chased goals, I've worked crazy hours, and all in the name of creating freedom. Maybe you can relate. But somewhere along the way, I realized that I wasn't creating a life. And I was just maintaining one that was running on autopilot, going through the motions. And you might feel the same. You're successful by most people's standards. You're working hard, providing for your family, chasing goals. But maybe, just maybe, you feel like your life is controlling you instead of you controlling your life. And that's what it's all about today. That's what I want to talk to you about. There's a great quote from the movie The Shawshank Redemption that says, "Get busy living or get busy dying." And I believe you're on one of those two roads. And I think it's a simple truth that you have to understand. Every day we're either consciously creating our lives or we're unconsciously letting them happen to us. And we're letting go of the control of our actual creation of our lives. So let's talk about how you can take back control. Because most of us start out chasing success because we want freedom. That's why we want to create a business. But freedom doesn't come from not working. It comes from the presence of intentional creation. And that's what starts with awareness. You've got to learn to become aware of what you're doing on a day-to-day. If you look at your calendar, your bank account, your health, your relationships, those are the clearest reflection of what you truly value. Not what you say you value, but what your actions prove that you value. The realization can become very uncomfortable, but it's powerful because once you see this, you can start changing. And you see, the truth is that your life is being created right now, either by design or by default. And every decision you make, every person you spend time with, every commitment that you agree to, it's all shaping your future. And most people let fear drive their decisions. They operate out of fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of missing out, fear of letting somebody down. You know what I mean? But fear is a terrible creator. It traps you in survival mode. And when you're operating from fear, you're constantly reacting to things. You're putting out fires, solving problems, defending what you already have instead of building and getting what you really want. And when you shift from fear to abundance, everything's going to change. And when you start operating from abundance, it means you're believing that there is enough time in the day. There is enough opportunity. The potential to create what you truly desire. It means that you're realizing that you are the one that create your reality. And so when you act from that place of creation, not reaction, you start living very differently. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can start creating your life instead of just surviving. And I want to share a couple powerful ideas with you. These are just things that I wrote down and riffed out as I was leaving the gym this morning, but it all starts with creating accountability. Look, you can't do this alone. We all need people around us who will challenge us, remind us of our goals, and call us on it when we're spending too much time at the office or too much time on work. Success loves accountability. Whether it's a mentor, a mastermind, a coach, or even a friend, find people who don't just support your dreams, but hold you to them. Without accountability, even the best intentions fade into good ideas because I got a buddy of mine that's always calling me trying to get me to do things. Now, sometimes too much, but he's a quick reminder that I want to create my life and I'm doing this for a reason. The next thing I would encourage you to do is create some structure. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but structure actually does create freedom. Most people think freedom means no schedule, no rules, no plan, but true freedom comes from knowing your priorities and protecting your time. Dan Martell talks about this. Your calendar actually will give you freedom. If you don't create structure, the world you have will create it for you. And it usually doesn't give you that structure you want. It doesn't serve your vision. Set some clear boundaries around your time. Build routines, time block, schedule your workouts, your quiet time, your creativity, your relationships. And just remember, you can't build a masterpiece without a framework. And if you're building your best life, it's going to be a masterpiece. Another thing you might not have heard me say before is you got to learn to create memories. This is a big one because what's the point of all the hustle if you never stop to live it? We think we're building wealth for later, but the truth is the later isn't guaranteed. Your kids, your partner, your friend, they won't remember the numbers in the bank account. They'll remember how present you were. So plan some experiences, capture moments, take a trip, have the conversation that you need to have. But memories are a real return on your investment in life. And so I encourage you to do that. Another thing is learn to create value. Don't just chase income, create impact. When you focus on creating value for others, your wealth becomes a byproduct and you get more in your life. The more people you help, the more opportunities come your way, and the more meaning you find in what you do, the more energy you have to keep doing it. Ask yourself every day, who can I help? What can I contribute? How can I create abundance in my life so that I can live from and to abundance? And then the last thing, and this might be what you start with, maybe this and a plan, but you got to create your vision. Before you design your business, your career, your goals, you've got to design your life in your mind. What does your ideal look like? What does your freedom look like? What's your vision? Don't wait until you arrive somewhere or have some ambiguous idea. The vision that you have isn't just a dream board. It's a compass that guides you on your daily decisions and journey. It's what I call a litmus test. So every yes or no in your day should align with your vision. And when you have a vision, then you can create a plan, because once you have a vision, you got to actually execute a strategy. And so your vision leads to your strategy. But too many people confuse movement for progress. They stay busy, but they're not advancing towards their goals. And so when you have clarity on your vision, you can have clarity on your strategy. You can create a roadmap. Break these into actionable steps, because life isn't about reacting to what comes. It's about creating what's next. You creating what's next. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention on this episode, you've got to create a mastermind. You've heard me say it. Proximity is power. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who is in your inner circle? Who do you surround yourself with? Are they bigger thinkers, bolder action takers, and do they live with intention? Because a true mastermind isn't just about networking. It's about collaboration, accountability, alignment. It's about putting yourself in an environment where growth is the standard, not where you're the top end. You're around people that pull you in a good direction. And when you do this, you'll learn to create more non-negotiables. What are your standards in your life? What are you not willing to compromise? Your health, your family time, your personal development. These are not luxuries. These are essentials for you to have a great life. So decide what's not negotiable for you and start living in alignment with that. And that'll make you more fulfilled, more happy, and everything else. Now, I want to bring this all together because your actions are always going to expose your true beliefs. And I want to emphasize that. You say you want a great life, but would your actions expose the fact that's true? You can say you value your time, but if you constantly give it away to people without value, your actions show otherwise. You can say that you want abundance, but if your schedule is filled with scarcity-driven tasks, your actions will reveal that too. So I want you to do me a favor and take some inventory this week. Ask yourself, what am I creating with my choices? Am I designing a life I love, or just maintaining and living from everything around me? Because here's the truth, and I need you to hear me when I say this. You can't have both a fear-based mindset and an abundant life. You can't keep reacting to your life and expect to feel fulfilled. You can't say that you want more freedom while refusing to create the structure that makes it possible. Your life is a masterpiece in progress, but only if you decide to pick up the brush and paint that yourself. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Pick one area of your life that you want to start constantly getting interactive and create. Maybe it's your structure, like your morning routine, your schedule, your calendar. Maybe it's your accountability, joining a mastermind or finding a mentor. Maybe it's just creating memories. But whatever it is, make it intentional. Don't let another week go by living in reaction mode. The people who live fully aren't the ones who have more time. They're the ones who decide how they use their time. Remember, your time is your most valuable currency. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Your focus is your greatest asset. And your ability to create, not just survive, is the difference between making a living and building a legacy. So today I want you to make a shift. Get busy living and start creating your life one decision at a time. And that's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I look forward to talking with you more on Monday. We got some great interviews coming up. And so I appreciate you being here. And do me a favor, share the show and hit me up on the Daily Mastermind. Let me know what you're working on. I want to know if you're struggling. I want to know if you're winning at some things so we can celebrate. And I'll look forward to talking with you more. Have an amazing day.